Now, Silver Sanctuary and Hot Ruby, we'll pair them up and talk about the two. Let's talk about Mike the Cox horse, Silver Sanctuary, priced up 10 to 1. I see they put the earmuffs on. It's been declared. That's the latest change around this horse. Would have a claim, yeah, Johnny?
Yeah, 100%. I do, and I have liked this filly for quite some time. Also going to make an argument about being under sufferance. But I think, you take those runs to Give Me Another early on in her career. I mean, this horse could have been a dual group winner, if not for a horse like Give Me Another that will probably go on to do great things in the US. Perfect prep, third run after rest, two mile runs, the draw's okay. Well weighted against Beating Wings, well weighted against Winchester Mansion. The draw's not too much of a concern because I think this horse can quicken up. We'll love the Turpentine 2000, so definite chance. Hot Ruby, I've always had a lot of respect for, and we've watched this horse just not be able to get another win for quite some time. I think the 18 draw is a little bit of a conundrum. I do think this horse has got great ability to quicken up, and I remember this horse's win at the Vaal that day when Craig Zaki came from, 10, 12 lengths off and made up probably the same amount of ground in absolutely no time.
Yeah.
So perhaps we're going to see a horse like Hot Ruby run the race of his life based on the fact that there's not much option for me from an 18 draw to drop this horse out.
Yeah.
I, though, personally would fancy Silver Sanctuary over Hot Ruby.
Sure, fair enough. Sean, let's talk about Silver Sanctuary and Hot Ruby, the pair. Hot Ruby coming to the race, I also thought with a very good prep. Yes, at any price, whatever the case may be, but we're looking at a quartet carryover here again. I harp on the fact. Give us your well-being factor.
A well-being factor, I think we're spot on. I mean, obviously the draw puts me off in a big way. Everything was going along sweetly until the draws, and I felt he was probably a very good quartet chance before the draw, and I think it is the fact that he has to be dropped out from the draw. I can't go around him with a horse like this because then he'll travel too well and he won't finish. Silver Sanctuary, sparkling prep, sparkling form. I'm just questioning Ted Furlong at Turpentine. She looks like she'll get it, but if you go back to the Oaks, then Francis has got her too. So I don't say the 2000 Turpentine is nailed on. I say it might just be at the top of her range.
Yeah, that could be the concerning factor, this particular course and distance, if you couple that up. Striker, you rode Hot Ruby before. You can give us your view and your overview, your view of Silver Sanctuary as well.
Yeah, I rate him as a good horse, but I honestly can't rate him in seed against class. But he's a younger horse. He's probably going to improve. He's getting weight, obviously, because it's a handicap. And once again, Sean can make horses improve. Like I've always underrated these horses, and then all of a sudden they just pop up. But he's a horse that has pulled in the past, so if you're too vigorous in the beginning, he's going to pull, so you're going to have to ride him a bit cold, and once again he could be stuck at the back and he might run into the minor money. Silver Sanctuary, well, if she's on the same class as Francis Esel, I could put her in a place money.
Quartet.
Yeah.
Put her into the play. Litigation and Atticus Finch, will pair them up. Let's talk about them, John, of which one of the two that you perhaps prefer. Personally, the view that from a back end of Quartet's perspective, they are the type of horses that can make this pay.
Yeah, I think both got good draws, so decent case on that. I think obviously both got good preps. Atticus Finch, very similar prep to last year, and I know last year this horse was very, very, very well fancied. If you had to ask me out of the two, I would have to side with Atticus Finch. I think this horse is, if this horse is back to where it was a year ago before the Summer Cup and coming in, this year with exactly the same weight based on what we thought of this horse last year, he's a runner, and I would definitely put him ahead of Litigation.
Yeah, it's amazing how a year ago he was all the rage. And Sean, we've been talking about pace, and there's a factor. Yes, your horse Litigation, who's well drawn, that you could perhaps use. And would you use him to go to the lead if there wasn't a pace?
So let's say he's had 6 tries at the distance. He's won once, and that was as an early 3-year-old. He's been tried over 2-4 where he failed dismally. So he's stretched at the 2000. If I'm going to make the pace and expect to stay on at the finish, either I'm dreaming or whoever thinks I'm going to the front is dreaming.
Yeah.
So, he's not the pacemaker, but he's had a good preparation. He's come back off an injury. He's got a 1 draw. Dennis got on well with him last time, and he's not 50-1 for no reason.
Sure.
I mean, we're punching at the bottom of half of the field here, and you know, I feel if I've beaten half the field home, I've done well. So if we get into the money, I think it's a big run.
Okay. Atticus Finch?
Perfect preparation. He had a really good prep last year and just wasn't quite good enough on the day, but we didn't see him again for a while, and maybe he didn't pull up well or something like that. But once again, good draw, good prep. Calvin gets on with him. Is he good enough to win it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Striker there, I mean, there are two outsiders at the end of the day, although got lots of ability, we know. They come in at 114s and 112s. They are under sufferance by a good few kilos. But where do you place them?
I see both of them held on form, but just because of Atticus Finch's good prep and drawn well, could run into the minor money. But I can't see them beating the fancied horses.
Okay. I'm going to couple Rule by Force now with Cape Eagle. Let's talk to John Blumberg about it, about Rule by Force. Great victories last start, the way he came back and win. I mean, it's that win that qualified him in the Betway Summer Cup.
Yeah, so I think this has always been a horse that Joey and the owners have held in high regard, and I think they were very patient with this horse, and obviously because of what they thought. So I think coming back after the gelding, 2 good runs. The last run was impressive. This horse was absolutely cantering a long, long way out. So an interesting runner. You have a look at a horse like Cape Eagle, the draw completely puts me off. You know, if I look at some of the wins early in his career against some fillies in Durban, I can't see that troubling Rule by Force if it was a complete match race at all.
Okay, so Rule by Force for you. Sean, your version of the two?
Once again, a nice prep. Joe's done well to get this horse to qualify. It's a quantum leap in class. I think he's got it all to do.
Yeah, okay. Cape Eagle, on the other hand, Sean, your overview on him?
I think,
Renell?
you know, he's up at the, you know, he's only carrying 54, which is at the bottom, but he's actually had to up his game in terms of, you know, what he's run against previously.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tough.
Going to be tough for Cape Eagle. Striker, you've ridden Rule by Force before, you know him. So where do you put him into the race this year? And what sort of chance would you give a horse like Cape Eagle coming to Johannesburg?
They're both going to have to improve a lot to trouble the lead, the winners, or the horses that are going to finish in the first couple of placings. I can't really say that they will trouble the fancied horses, so no, not for me.
Not for you. All right, well, the last couple that we want to pair up now is Madison Valley and My Soulmate. And listen, Andre, now, thank you for coming. It's good to have you here, Frank Robinson, for raiding and coming to the Highveld. Madison Valley and My Soulmate, Jonathan, they are, again, at any price. You can price them up what you like.
Yeah.
But we want to get this quartet. Do we add them in or not to worry about them, in your opinion?
So my opinion, I think, I don't know what's gone with My Soulmate. We'll argue that it is third run after rest, but I don't think there's been enough improvement from run 1 to run 2. Tricky draw 11. We've gone from cheek pieces back to blinkers. I don't know, the theory there. Madison Valley, on the other hand, drawn 19. An absolute shocking draw, but you have a horse here that 100% will stay. There's not much between him and Cape Eagle. There's a bit of a turnover in weights. Turfentine long straight definitely suit this horse. So of the two, I would go Madison Valley over My Soulmate.
Interesting. Sean?
I think Madison Valley is a young horse, and the fact that he's won 4 out of 14, he's on the up. There's not a lot between him and Cape Eagle. Cape Eagle's actually got him at the form. The only hope is that he's a younger horse and there may be still improvement to come on that last run. But I think it's going to be tough for him. My Soulmate, we're going on about Francis Ethel. This filly ran second to Francis Ethel. Okay, and didn't do much wrong thereafter. Her first run back, 1400 inside course, big run. We have to put a line through her last run. Now, if we can, just because it was a second run or just a quiet run, then, it enhances her chances, but we don't know what went wrong the last time.
Yeah.
11 draws is not easy, but she is a horse that runs on. So this wouldn't be a lunatic result running into the quartet if we fancy the other fillies.
Yeah. Okay, so My Soulmate to be considered in your play. Madison Valley, lovely looker. Striker, you know my soulmate. You've partnered her before quite a few times. What is your opinion?
Yeah, she's a very moody filly. She won't jump well at the gates, and then she won't go. You actually have to push her along for the first 100, 200 meters just to get a position. So you don't know what you get on a day. Sometimes she comes out well and you end up in a nice position, but she does not help you most of the way. So I think from a bad draw, and there's going to be a lot of pace, everyone's going to have to jump to get position because of the big field. She might struggle to overcome a draw and get into a position. So I think she'll struggle. And then Madison Valley, I don't know much about him. I think he's under sufferance, so no, not for me.
Okay. That's our Betway Summer Cup preview, but they're not going to get away. We're going to try and find out from the boys if they were to double float, in a quartet. You take the two horses, the two have to run in the first four. Which would those two be as a punter? Now, we know you're attached to your own horse because you're a jockey or you're a trainer or you're an owner, but as a punter and you study form, which would those two be for you, Johnny, if you to double float?
Royal Victory and Silver Sanctuary.
Royal Victory, Silver Sanctuary for Jonathan. Sean?
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go See It Again.
Yeah.
And Francis Ethel.
Double float. Francis Ethel with See It Again for Sean. Terry? Striker?
I'm going Royal Victory, See It Again.
Royal Victory and?
See It Again.
And See It Again. Oh, that's great. So See It Again's in the play.
Of course.
Of course. And he's going to love the 2000. The Betway Summer Cup preview concluded. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We look forward, of course, being at the Betway Summer Cup on the big day. The weather promises to behave. Lots of entertainment. It's going to be a fantastic afternoon.